Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Relatable Radio Hour with me, Dr. Green. Thank you so very much for joining. Today, we have a great guest that's going to really enlighten us on some amazing things that he's doing in the mental health space. But I'll get to that in just a moment. As always, I always like to bring people who can really speak to really important topics, things that we're doing in life, with everything that's going on. I mean, if you're watching the news, if you're on social media, if you got family, friends, you are hearing so many things that maybe you are ingesting and internalizing, and all of that stuff really messes with your mental health, but not just your mental health, but there are people in other spaces who really, really are requiring some attention as well. And that's why I'm so glad that we have today's guest with us to talk about it a little bit further. But I would like to welcome to you all Roger Crouell. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on, Dr. Green.
Well, I'm so glad to have you, man. What you're doing is amazing, and I'm really excited to have you on this platform and just be able to share what you're doing. But before you get into all that good stuff, why don't you introduce yourself and tell the people a little bit about yourself?
Hi, my name is Roger Crouell. I'm a certified peer support specialist, certified forensic peer support specialist, anger management specialist, mental health and substance abuse specialist. I work here at Holland and Associate here in New Bern, North Carolina. Been doing it for about 3 years now. And what I'm finding out and what I'm seeing, even in our culture, in the Black community, when it comes to mental health, we are scared to share, or it's the lack of resources. We was always taught to hold it in or just pray about it. It'll go away. Sweep it up under the rug. You don't want the fear of or the stigma. People think you're crazy. When it's left untreated, it slides into mental illness. And that's where the problem's going. When you go into depression and anxiety and things of that, you're isolating yourself. That's when it's alarm for concern.
I am so glad that you went out the gate with what you just said, because yeah, that is definitely the persona that mental health or therapy has had in the Black community. We've always been told not to air out your dirty laundry.
Mhm.
And if you talk about your feelings or things that you're dealing with, that you're quote unquote crazy, which I think is a terrible stigma. But I'm glad that you are combating that and also doing so many other wonderful things in the field. Well, first and foremost, let's just get into the space that you're in, because that's a very specific, very important calling that somebody has to have to go into that field in the first place. So, what drew you into that space? When you started kind of moving forward in your career.
It kind of attracted me. Um, to take you back to rewind and take a little bit, I came from a troubled past. That's what kind of led me here. And I didn't know the symptom of the signs, but I was an angry kid. Growing up, I was angry and didn't know why. Then it just filtered because I think when I finally realized my father and I couldn't sit past, we were too much alike per se. And that's where it all stemmed from. I had a parent that one was showing, but they didn't know how to love. They was working themselves to death. One seemed like they was doing more than the other. The other ones couldn't show affection. Now you can look at when as you grow up and you can see it. Both had both sides to it. One did not will the other. It was just they wasn't taught when they was growing up how to show love and compassion. And then it just escalated. Then you get it to the point. You try to hide it. You try to mash things by drugs and alcohol. At the
Mhm.
age of 13, I was introduced to alcohol. And like everything when it first starts out, it makes the world lively again. You can actually deal with life itself. You can forget about you up under the poverty line, that you don't have what most people have, not going through certain things. But it only escalates when time goes on. First of all, you still have to deal with the past pain or the past trauma, which most black males go through. And what I'm seeing too now, and this is just my personal opinion, when you have a male in the household not showing a male how to be a male, that can be even worse.
Mm,
Sometimes it might be that the child might be better off raised by the single parent, by a single parent or a mother. But then that's the stigma that we face in the black communities. Because if you don't have that male role model there, you're going to leech and latch on to the first thing you call a role model. That can be an uncle, that can be an older cousin, it can be the drug dealer, it can be the gangbanger.
mm,
Because you searching in need of that
mhm,
black male role model.
mhm,
I'm not trying to tell you the right thing, way, because as you look back, or as I look back, I couldn't wait to get that age where I could drink because I seen my cousins, my older cousins and stuff, and they made it look fashionable. They made it look good. You know what I mean? They go out and drink, cut up, and do all this. But nobody told me that there's pain down the end of that road. Nobody told me you can't handle it. What's going to happen to you? Because we know it started out with experimental, and we
mhm,
know, yeah, you experiment with it, then you use it for little social things, cookouts, and all this. Then it become recreational, then become habit forming and abuse.
mhm,
But latching out, this is how it all started for me. I was angry.
mm,
Get back to what I was talking about. And I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't have
mm,
nobody to really talk to. And that's why when you keep stuff internal, sooner or later it's going to give. Then you start acting out on anything that comes next to you, close to you. You start destroying everything. So, and that's if we had implemented, if nobody in them stigmas told you it's all right to talk to someone and not be labeled as weak or
mhm.
labeled as soft or labeled, all that stereotype that come with it. Because if I get right now, Dr. If I shake this Pepsi can up and give it to you and you open, what's going to happen? It's going to burst and it's going to get on you. You
Right,
had nothing to do with it. What
right.
is
Yeah.
going on with me? This is most of the black males in America right
Wow, wow. That's so true. That is a very profound statement because we do so much that we internalize. And it's so many things that, I mean, just even in the young black male community, I mean, the things that they go through and the things that they can't talk about, but the things that they're experiencing find its way spewing onto someone else in some type of way, much more prominently than we would want to.
now.
So you made that very, very, very like in your face imagery right there. Was that something that you were going through as you kind of went through that teenage phase? Because I think that's where you were
Yeah.
kind of going.
Yes, I was going to. Yeah, I'm going to get as you going on in the teenage years. You try to find different avenues. I
Mm,
played sports, still wasn't getting that thing off because now I'm seeing as I get older. Now me and my father is not really getting. You know, I'm sitting there in this man now. I'm getting like most people. I'm not. I don't have this what I think is a male role model. Instead, I'm seeing a guy now. I'm just trying to do things to hurt him, not knowing it's killing me. Trying to get at him doing the drinking because he didn't believe in me. He was like, he told us when we were young, I take you out of here if I find you drinking the drug, you know? So now you do the exact thing that will get up on his nerve, up on his skin. You was embracing that
mm,
just to see his reaction, but not knowing you digging yourself farther and farther in the hole. Not knowing I had a generational curse behind me
mm,
because my forefathers drank. my great uncles, my great grands, and all that. So now you looped in that generational curse that we got going on. So now it escalates. It escalates. And you're full on. You drinking before you go to work. Now, yeah, as time goes on, you go to college, you drinking. You're doing everything is revolving around a drink.
Mm.
You're hiding it well, or you think you are, because it's gonna start interfering in stuff in life as you
Yeah.
keep doing. So this is why it's so. If you have a young male, it's good that you sit him in front of guys like us. And I would tell them it's all right to speak about what's hurting you before it's too late. Because you're gonna start acting out and you're gonna start doing things that's gonna be totally profound to you, to yourself and your family. You're gonna start getting into trouble. Because when you go on deaf ear,
Mhm.
who are you listening to? When you get a guy like us in front of them, what are you listening to when we're trying to speak? When we're trying to talk to you, had that conversation. And I end up, so a lady told me something when I was probably 19. Uh, she was a prophetess, and not to bring in religious or that whole spirituality realm in. But she said, if you don't straighten up your life, you have it, you heading down a path of self-destruction. Once again, when you're on deaf ear, nobody can penetrate that.
Mhm.
You're
Yeah.
not listening.
Right.
So, and it did. And it further escalated. And it further escalated. I ended up, there was a shooting charge later on in my life. Um, the person, there was a loss of life. And I ended up, I was served, I was sentenced to 15 years after the judge, the first appearance. Let me take you back. So, that first
Mhm.
appearance, though, that was shocking. All the blood came out of me and everything when the judge said life in 50. Did you even fathom that? Life in 50. So I'm sitting here today. I'm blessed to be here, but I had to go through something because I wasn't listening all the way from the age of 13. It escalated all the way up. So I'm telling these young males of today, take time out to get to know yourself before you follow the wrong route. Who are you? Ask yourself that question. Why are you following this? We know there are lack of black males or no lack of black role models. But you need to get yourself surrounded with the guys in the churches and the guys that's not hanging out or selling the drugs or doing this. Because once the system gets you,
Hmm.
you will, even though they say give you a minimal time, you're gonna always be serving a life sentence. Because your charge never changed. Your record never changed. So everything you tried to do in life, they're gonna go back and read your background check, and that's still gonna be representing you.
So where does this leave you in your journey? You talked about getting into some trouble. Talk to us about that
But
particular
the
time.
stipulation when you go through this all this, I mean, you do a prison stance, and which is, I mean, I don't know why people want to use that as a badge of honor. They get out, the first thing they do, the people want to give you a cookout. Why? They want to offer you a beer and a blunt. Why? Why they didn't say, hey, I got a job for you, wait, I got some kind of job waiting for you, or you need to get back into school. Or I'm gonna do something else to help you out. They do the same thing that got you incarcerated because it's gonna poison your mind once again. If I hand you a beer and a blunt when you first get out, now you right back in the fold. Something you done left from a period of time. And while you was in there, you made all these prison promises to yourself. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna better my life. I'm not gonna hang with that. But why we think we owe ourselves to go back and hang around the same people that we ran from? See, and that's the part, I mean, when I work with people, especially inmates, I tell them to put together a POA, a plan of action. Because if you get out and you don't have anything but what you left, you're gonna be back in 6 months until a year because you have no structure. You have no plan. Thank God I did have some kind of plan and somewhere to go. I had an address when I got out. My mom did say you can come back home. Um, I did have a guy. He had a construction company. He said, "Hey, you can come work for me." So there was some things that were set up, but there was some things I was still fighting internally. Even though I had 5 years, 9 months to think about things and work on stuff, but there was still a little part of me still wouldn't let go of this little piece of anger. And I continued to drink. I didn't really put down drinking till 5 years ago. I'm 54 now. This crime happened when I was 21.
Mm.
So I'm fighting this demon. It started at 13, but you're fighting this demon from 21 on. You had a break between there, 5 years, 9 months, but you come out. And because you couldn't talk about it, you couldn't deal with it. Now you had the past trauma on top of the vanilla trauma. You're building this cake, right? You got this cake, you got this layer going, but you're still dealing with it and you're not letting it out. So now it's still festering inside of you. So this is why you got to let it go. You got to talk about it. You got to heal from the inside out. Because the healing starts inner. You got to kill them past demons. I'm a true believer now of Carl Jung's shadow work. You got to start in and heal there to bring it out. That's the only way your life is shown.
So how did you, I mean, I'm glad to hear that you had, you know, a plan, as you said, a plan of action, and you had an address to go to. So how did you start the healing process to kind of ward off those demons?
I had to look in the mirror. Dr. Green, I had to look in that mirror that we so forcibly keep not want to look in at times. Because when you in the inside, you know you're not living up to your potential, but you don't know how to get there. Society, after you get out of the penal system, now you got this felon on you. People, you're gonna hear these no's. So that's gonna frustrate you even more. So you got to work on yourself
Mm.
more and more, because you know what I mean. My cousin and I was talking today. He said, how can you be habilitated when or rehabilitated when we were never habilitated? That made good sense to me. He said, think about it. We was never habilitated. So when you're in there, how can you be rehabilitated when you were never habilitated? It's up to you. It's up to the person themselves. I got tired of being tired. And the last straw, when I finally had to come to me, my wife and I separated because of the drinking came back. And she basically said, like, I can't take it. And now I look back, I don't blame her. She had to save herself. But I had to have a long look in the mirror at myself and say, you caused this, let's get yourself out of this. It's time to start blaming and start being responsible, accountability. See, them two words got to become your friend, especially accountability. You
Hmm.
did, you did this because you wouldn't let X, Y, and Z go. You want to hold on to the pain and the trauma and the hurt? That's on you. Why? Forgive yourself. Why we keep ourselves prisoners? For the love of God, I don't know. But I had to let go. I had to let go of all the things in the past that I did wrong. I had to start back going back, mending and building back bridges again. Some bridges is meant to be burnt and stay burnt, like the ones with old people, places, and things. It need to go. You owed it nothing. It took everything from you. So why we want to go back and revisit that when it did your life?
Right.
So some bridges need to be burnt and stay. But the ones that's been in your corner and you can actually know they was in your corner, there from day one, but you couldn't see it because she was in your stuff, that's the one you go back and say, look, I wasn't myself. And you got to start mending and building that trust and that bond back.
I'm sure somebody is listening and watching this and are wanting to make those steps to actually do it. And you're right, those are all like really powerful, much needed things to do. But what about the person that's wondering, how do I do it? What do I do? What would you tell them?
You have to first take that first step. Change, nothing changes to some changes, and everybody knows what that kind of mean. You know what I mean? You got to all that pride. You got to get over the shame, the guilt, and all this, and just take that step. Once you ask for forgiveness, see now you get it off you and put it on them. You ask, you went there wholehearted and say, "I'm sorry." Because when you enter the any kind of addiction or any kind of anything like that, you're not yourself. You are controlled by a substance, and it runs your life. It runs when it tells you to move, you move it. When you tell you you drink me, smoke me, whatever it tells you to do, go out in the rain, whatever it tells you to do, you're doing it. So you're not yourself. But the first thing is just go to them and be open and honest. Have open and honest dialogue with them and yourself.
Okay.
Because when you got to build it back up, you do. They got to be the trust. You got to understand. Once you out there in it, you have broken the trust back, and it's hard to get it back. You can break a trust like that in a second, and it take years to build. Trust is broken in the instant, in just a matter of seconds, but it take years to mend back. Because people want action then. They don't want to hear your words, they want actions. Yeah, your words is nothing at this point. It's
Mm-hmm.
all about proving to self that you can
Mm-hmm.
do this. And you ask, and some people see you moving in the right direction, and they'll help you out. They'll start having that faith and that trust in you again, that you sincere about what you're doing. So somebody that's saying, how do I do this? Look in that mirror and say, look, you fought for being in this, fought for sobriety, fight for this. You got to fight for it because it's you versus you every day. Every day you open your eyes, you got a choice. Make the right ones.
Yeah. So, okay, they make the choice, they work within themselves, ask for forgiveness. What other tangible steps would somebody need to take in order to kind of get, through this process?
Get you, as I said, accountability, get your accountability partner. Find you
Mm-hmm.
some support groups. Find you somebody that's going to help you get through this journey. They know it's your fight, but they want you to do this fight. They want you. It's just like if you was in a boxing, you the boxer, you got your trainer on the side. He's telling you should have bought when you should have win. Or you look, hey, you got to do this, and this is the same kind of setup. This is a fight between you and you. So now, when you ask him for this, he can't fight no harder than you.
Mm-hmm.
He just getting you direction. We just here to coach you along.
Right.
It's your fight though. That's why we did it. This is when sobriety and all this stuff kicks in. This is where the journey begins.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is your journey. This is your fight. Do you want life? Because most of us at this point, all you're doing is existing. You're not living. It's a difference.
There is a difference. It sure is.
You just you just existing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but do you want to live?
Right.
Do you want your life back? Do you want to? You're not saying the cruises or the spending time with the family. And you got to worry about it. All this. You enjoying life. That's living. Going out there and seeing reality for what it is. It's not hiding behind a bottle or a blunt
Right.
or anything much stronger. You can see it. You can man up a woman up every day and say, look, I love my life now.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a quote that I said in something else. We have the people that's fighting sobriety or getting to that point of in a recovery. You got to learn to like yourself, to love yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and you
Yeah,
do.
you really do.
Yeah, because you become this, you
Yeah.
become something else when
Mm-hmm.
you in that state. You become something, and it's not pretty.
Mm-hmm.
When you look in that mirror, you don't like what you see. So after a while, you got to get back to the point that you're liking yourself again. You want to do something. You want to take the time out to groom, and you want to take the time out because one time you wasn't showering properly. You wasn't brushing. You wasn't grooming yourself properly. You wasn't doing none of these things. Oh, you just worry about how I'm gonna get high today. How I'm gonna get drunk today. That was your playing your only mission.
Yeah. I think it's pretty incredible that you're able to work in a space with other people and you've experienced things and you're able to kind of share your knowledge and share your experiences with people so that they can get their life back on track just as you did, which is why I'm so interested to hearing, what you do on a day-to-day basis because from what you've shared, at the beginning of our conversation, it seems like what you do on a daily basis and the people you come in contact with seems like it's a very constant, fulfilling opportunity for you to help impact someone else's life. So, talk to us a little bit about the work that you're doing and the impact that it's having on the people you're working with.
Yeah, it goes. It's on a broad spectrum because it's from mental health, from substance abuse, to helping people just walk day to day. They still in their addiction, but you like a co-pilot when it comes to it's many hats. Because so let's take certified peer support first. When you're a peer support, you just a co-pilot. People still use, they still in their thing, and you just co-facilitate it. You know what I mean? All you say is just like you if you're a passenger on a car, they driving it, just they keep it between the lines. You know, being a part of the harm reduction, they sometimes people get mixed emotion on that. Use out you giving people clean syringes and whatever, if sex work, condoms or whatever. You just making sure they're safe in their space. But when it goes on to the other, you got to switch gears and become the counselor. See, now you got to give them the working tools.
Hmm.
You got to get them to look at themselves. And you say, how are you going to get there? Because some people don't, it's not ready. You can't force it. So some people just want to share. So you listen. But you let the individual make that choice what they're trying to do. And you just got to do. And day-to-day basis, how we kind of stay sane, we had to learn how to step back and avoid burnouts. You got to find you a safe space. I worked out. That's my de-escalation. Work out and be around my family and stuff. I'm in the old other stuff, but you know what I mean? It's we got to get I take reward in it because when I first started out, you want to save the world. And as time come on, that's impossible. You got to take one client at a time. Know their needs and want, listen to them well, and try to help them out the best way you know.
Hmm.
Because some is not ready. Some, when they come, you can tell the ones that's ready. They come to you with tears in their eyes and they say, look, whatever it takes. That's the broken. And I
Ah,
and I can look in their eyes and see because I was broken as well. When I came back home and when was it? In 2018. Um, everything in me was gone. I had to call my mother and ask to come back home. Me and my wife separated, as I mentioned before. Um, 4-bedroom house, 1 cars, all this good stuff. Gone. reduced to nothing, staying in motels, and had to do a stint, a year in jail for check fraud. On upon the release, I had nothing to come out to. When they say you free to go, I looked around, and for the first time, homelessness kicked in. I have nowhere to go. My cousin somehow found me by the grace of God. You know what I mean? After a night just wandering, didn't have a dime, didn't have no money. The only thing, I lost everything. And he came in and got it. He told me, he said, look, I can't shelter you but for a night, but you gotta go back home. You gotta go back home. And that was the place I ran from many years ago, trying to forget my past back there.
Mm.
Only to find out you take yourself wherever you go. Because if it's still in you, you just going somewhere else to start a new problem.
Yeah.
If for people, you take you wherever you go. So everything gonna had to come back home. And that was probably one of the saddest days of my life because I was broken. I had nothing. But some kept saying, go back to school. Go back to school. You what else you gotta do? Nothing. Living behind shame, the guilt, because you're coming home, you're looking good, you're doing this and you're doing that. Now you're on foot. Back living with your mom. Everything's gone. Now you don't worry about the people pointing and laughing at you. What you seeing now is just, what am I gonna do? I gotta get, hey, I don't have time for this. I have to have. So when I came back home, my sister came and got me. My cousin met her halfway, and I cried all the way back home, about 2.5 hours. And I know right then, I said, I got to get myself. I went to the local subdivision college, met with some people. They said, okay, we need all this to get this together. Put this, go back and get your old transcripts, all this. Did that. And I had help. I was just, thank God he was putting angels in my way all the way. I had a cousin. She took me in, didn't have no money. She said, don't worry. I got it. Gave me some words of wisdom. She said, keep the change, just do good. On the way back from that college, I heard a voice just like you and I. And it said, I have to send you back in the dark because I can't go there to get my people. Bring them out to the light where I can talk to them.
Mm.
Just like that. That's when I know counseling. Counseling. So distinct. I got to send you back in the dark because I can't go. And go get my people to bring them back out to the light where I can talk to them.
Hmm.
Went, got a degree in human service technology, substance abuse counseling, and they've been doing it ever since.
Wow. So when you do reach to the ones that fall to the rock bottom place, that as you kind of put it, when you can look at their eyes and you can tell that they're ready to really transform, um, what is that general process for them? And like, are they open to the things that you kind of put for them to do, or are they kind of resistant? How does that work for
See,
them?
it's the resistance at first. It's the denial. I don't do that. I can quit anytime I want to. You get that feedback. You get that wall until you kind of share. See, this is why peer support differs from counseling. See, peer support, you get to share like, hey,
Hmm.
I know where you're coming from. And seeing that lower that wall, just like
Hmm.
I've been there. And they look at you, they see a finished product or product,
Right.
not knowing I wasn't too long removed where you was.
Hmm.
But I had to come to grips that I couldn't beat it. I had to come to grips that I had to kill that thing that was in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I just tell them straight, right up front, and you can get there. You just gotta fight. My whole thing, you gotta fight. Just like you fought to do this, you fought to do that. Now fight to live. Because without the fight, you subject to fall because you're gonna go back to them old people, places, and things. And sometimes situations. It'll keep you in that loop, it'll keep you in that fold. Because you owe your past life nothing. It's a teaching moment, but you owe it nothing.
Yeah.
So the ones that comes in and as we spoke, the one that's got them tears running, them two ones that I'm tired. I am very tired. I'm tired. The ones on the brink that's rock bottom that's about to unlive themselves. So you get those two. And what do you say? Somebody talking about taking their own body. We got to, that's a whole protocol within itself. But what do you got? What do you got around the house? What do you got? When people
Wow.
gave up, has actually gave up on life. They can't stand the way they look or they're living or anything. I have had women that come in and just talk about their past experience. You can't go down there so far until you had to get somebody to say, hey, you need to come in here with me with this.
Yeah.
Because it's getting kind of, what I mean? Because it's very hard on anybody, but women, it takes a toll on them. Because now sex work can come in, play it, things of that nature. So
Yeah. 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 Wow. So let's talk about the ones that's like when they get into the process, they actually follow through with everything. Um, what are some of the experiences you've had with people who actually, gone through it, you know, transformed from who they were, and then, left from your
uh,
care to live a productive life, a transformed, productive life?
I have now that's the rewarding part. When you get the
Hmm.
phone calls and somebody come back and see. Um, Not to say in the names, but I had a phone call the other day that said, Mr. Roger, thank you for everything. Ex-military. He said I had a bullet in the head engraved, not now. He said I just threw it away after many years. He said after coming to see you and being going through your class and all this, he said I went to my wood line and threw the bullet away. And he said I want to just thank you. And that's what it's for. You know what I mean? You don't want it for the kudos or the
Right.
bill. You actually gave a person a thought about saving their, what I mean, living again. A thought, an inkling of living again without the aid of drugs and alcohol.
Right.
Because we all know, what I mean, to change your mindset. Because I'm very, I tell them about it. So you got to change your mindset. That cognitive behavior. You got to think about it. You got to rewire your brain. Your brain got rewired. You know what I mean? So we got to rewire. You got to unlearn the things that you know. It's not an easy process,
Hmm.
but you have to forget it. Because if you learn it, you can unlearn it. It's just a whole
Right.
process. So, and that goes with the mental health part, that goes with the substance abuse part, because that goes hand in hand. Because if your mental is not stable, the substance abuse help you try to fit that meaning, but it always get rewired.
Yeah.
So if you get them where they start looking at themselves again without the aid of drugs and alcohol, that's the whole thing. You know what I mean? Live life through the eyes that you see.
Hmm.
And it's a beautiful thing when you can your reality, your thing. Nobody can't tell you how to feel and how to act, how to do. That's why it's so good. How do you feel? How do you see things? Why or what happened? You see things like that. That's the questions. That's generally that's questions that's the happening thing. Because I asked one guy one time. I said, answer three questions for me, and it was hard for him. Who am I? He really had a problem. Most people don't. Why was I born and what is my purpose? And am I enough? Them three questions I would ask to the audience. Answer them three questions. You pretty much can find yourself within. So,
Were they able to answer it at all? With
no,
this?
some it's very hard for most. It's very hard for most. Some
Hmm.
people do not know who they are. That's why we have followers. That's why we're so young at an age or impressionable age. Let's say I'll put myself, you know what I mean? You want to be like the older people. I didn't know who I was. So you'll follow anything. You do anything just to be a part of a clique. So you got to prove yourself. You got to do that. So a man that knows exactly who he is, or a woman knows exactly who you are, you can't get me. Just that take guys our age, you can't get me to go do things you want to do no more. I'm not, you can't coerce me to do that. But when you're impressionable and you lost and you just want to be a part of something, it's very impressive.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, it really sounds like the work that you're doing really involves you being invested, having a passion for helping and supporting these individuals. And I think just your background and your experience really goes hand in hand in helping people, transform and get their life back. So just my hat really goes out to you for the work that you're doing in this capacity. If you had one word to describe who you are, what would it be?
Grateful, grateful. Cause you look back, I look back at it. My wife said all the time. She said he had his hands on you. My God, but I'm just grateful for it. There's a reason. Probably I had to go through that whole scene and scenarios and all that to get to this point. Even
Hmm.
our past hasn't, it's no accident that we met. Um,
Hmm.
but I'm just very grateful that my life is something meaningful nowadays. It's just not like wandering around. Even with the sports, with all the popularity and all this, this is fulfilling. I'm actually seeing where you can make a difference in somebody's life.
Yeah.
Yes, it was ugly. Yes, I heard about it, the shame and the guilt, and I wouldn't talk about it like this. Then this is like most. I don't want the world to know what I've done, you know. But yeah, drugs, alcohol, incarceration. No, now one of them wasn't fun, but who I am today, I see why.
Hmm. That's awesome. Mr. Roger Crouell, we thank you so very much for sharing all of the nuggets that you have shared on this show. I know a lot of people are listening and watching and very inspired by what you've shared and also the work that you're doing and continuing to do to help people transform their lives. If individuals wanted to connect with you later, how could they do so?
Well, my email is Roger, that's Roger dot Cruel, Crouell at Holland dot at gmail.com or 252-232-7570.
All right. Well, I hope that somebody does reach out because I'm sure that somebody has something to ask and to connect with you for, and I think that'd be great to do. Before we head out for sure, uh, what is one thing that you're grateful for today?
Coming on this show to reach some young man or some young woman
Mhm.
that's about to make a decision that will change their life forever.
Yeah, yeah.
And hopefully, after seeing this, it would alter your mind and alter the way you're thinking and what you was about to think. Because a thought is just a thought till you act on it.
That's right. That's right. And that's why I know that the work you're doing is so impactful because of that very thing. Um, If I had one thing to be grateful for, I would say just second chances.
Yes.
Every day we get up, man, it's just another opportunity to make it better than before And just to be amongst the living, I think is always just a great gift. So that's what I would say today. But thank you again for joining. I really appreciate it. I know the people that are watching and listening appreciate it as well. And for everybody that's watching, make sure that you tune in again. Go to my YouTube page, go to all my social media platforms, follow me, all that good stuff. You can watch this episode and many other episodes as well. So make sure that you do that. And tune in again. We're going to have somebody else coming on, another guest that has some great information as well. So be tuning in for that. Until then, have a great day. Have a great week.